Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us tonight at this event called SA Scholars Share Their Middle School Experiences. My name is Jen Haynes, and I am the principal at Success Academy Midtown West Middle School, where I am right now. And I'm thrilled to have two of my scholars here tonight to talk with you about their experiences in middle school. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Nicole, can you go first?
Hello, my name is Nakwelwe. I right now I am in grade 8. My elementary school I went to Success Academy Upper West, and right now I'm in Middle Midtown West. My bad. I live I live in the Upper West area, and yeah, that's pretty much all about me.
Hi, my name is Sienna Tong. I'm an eighth grader at Midtown West. I went to the Washington Heights Elementary School, and currently I'm in Midtown West. I live in Washington Heights.
Thanks, guys. I'm excited to talk with you about your middle school experiences. I said in advance I was going to share this fun fact, which is that Nicole and I have actually known each other since he was a teeny tiny little kindergartner. I was the assistant principal at Upper West that year. I then followed him through the next year's first through fourth grade as his principal, and then followed him to middle school because I just loved him so gosh darn much. I couldn't stay away from him. And I've been his principal here at Midtown West for the last 4 years. The three of us are so excited to share information with you guys tonight about our middle schools and what is so special about middle school here at Success Academy. We know that many of you are third and fourth grade parents, maybe even some third and fourth grade scholars on the call, and you're eager to know, what is middle school like? What is it that I'm gearing up and signing up for the next 4 years of my educational experience here at Success Academy? Well, we are here to tell you. Tonight, the way this webinar is going to work is we have some questions that I'm going to ask to Sienna and Nicole, just so you can get a little sense of what their experience has been over the last 4 years here at Midtown West. Actually, Sienna transferred here in the 6th grade from Harlem Northwest, which no longer exists, but she will tell you about her 3 years here at Midtown West. But there will also be some time at the end for you to ask us questions and for us to answer those questions that you have, the burning questions that are on your mind about middle school. So you'll note that down at the bottom of this app, there's a Q&A section. We're setting aside a time at the end to answer your questions. You just need to submit them to us in that Q&A box found at the bottom of your screen anytime during the session. Don't wait until the end. Send them throughout. We are collecting them on the back end, and we're going to do our best to pull out the most common themes so that we can answer those live for you. Just to note, you might see your question get dismissed throughout the session. That does not mean that we're ignoring your question. It's just a feature of Zoom. It means that we've captured the big idea in your question, and we will do our best to answer it shortly. It does not mean we're ignoring you. You don't need to submit that question again. We'll make sure that we get to as many of the questions as possible. And if we aren't able to answer it live, we'll make sure that you get that answer at some point in time. So again, my name is Jen Haynes. I'm the principal here at Midtown West. I kind of gave you the history of my time here at Success Academy through my journey as Nicole's principal. But I have the unique experience that not many Success Academy principals do, that I've seen our elementary schools in action and then also followed some of our scholars up into middle school. And I thought I was going to hate middle school. I'm not going to lie. I don't know about you guys, Nicole and Sienna, if you kind of thought it was going to be something other than what you were imagining, but I have loved getting the chance to work with scholars at this age, seeing all the richness of the curriculum that we offer here at Success Academy, how it challenges our students, how the electives that we offer give them opportunities to explore their talents in new ways. And really just seeing about how the type of independence that we foster in our scholars help them become the amazing people that they are. And you're going to get a chance to see that today from Nicole and Sienna. So enough about me. I am definitely not why you came here today. You came here to hear from scholars and to hear their middle school experiences. So let's hear from them. Sienna, why don't you start us off? Can you tell us about middle school? What do you like about it? And what did you find different about elementary school?
I find the most interesting and exciting part of middle school is being able to have a newfound sense of freedom. You get to manage your own time by yourself. You have a less set in stone way of learning. You'll be able to learn about yourself and figure out what you like and dislike along the way. I think the biggest difference I found was like the intensity and rigor of what we are learning. The subjects are more broad and diverse, and you'll be able to hone what skills you like the most and just generally be able to learn a lot of new things.
How about you, Nicole? How has your middle school experience been? What was the most different from elementary school?
Well, the most different from elementary school was definitely like more or less like the schedule, because it's like elementary school, like you kind of had like a set in stone, like it was pretty much similar, same thing. But it's like now we have like a new class added to the schedule, and it's like you have like lots and multitudes of different teachers now teaching us different things. So it's like it gets different, but it's like you get used to it as you grow on in the years of being at the school. And what I like most about it is kind of similar to what Sienna said. The material that they learn is just preparing us not for only for that year of school, but also the next year. Say like you're learning stuff in fifth grade, you're also preparing you for sixth grade, not just what you're supposed to learn in fifth grade.
And tell me a little bit more, Nicole, about that new subject that you get in middle school, because I know a lot of parents have a lot of anxiety when they get to middle school. They have history and math and science and ELA, and they get grades for all of them. Was it hard at first, all of those subjects and managing all of that?
Definitely was like a bit challenging at first, but it's like as I said, like as the school year goes on, you get more in tune with it, and it's like you get really good at it because now I'm doing like really well in history. Like a previous unit test that we had, I was the only one who got like 100% on it. So it's just as the school year goes on, you just get better with the things that they learn and teach you.
Sienna, I bet you were a little jealous of that 100%. Is that true?
I wouldn't say jealous because I got a 19, so I was right up there. But maybe just like this much.
And did you find the transition from elementary school to middle school challenging too? And has it kind of worked out for you, or has it stayed challenging? Talk to us about that transition.
It was definitely a difficult transition. I previously went to Harlem Northwest, which was a different middle school than where I am now, and I had a very different experience than I did in elementary school. I learned a lot in both places, but I'm lucky to be able to have different experiences and go from one school to the other.
I think a big concern that a lot of people have about the transition is about social life and friendships. Can you talk to us about how was that transition for you? Were a lot of the kids new to you? Did you already know a lot of kids from elementary school? What was the social transition like from elementary school to middle school?
Once I got to Midtown West, I was able to pick out a couple people that I had known from extracurriculars, summer camps, the network programs that we have, such as Network Chorus. And I was also able to make new friends. It didn't come necessarily immediately, but over time, I made some really great friends, and I'm very happy to have now.
In fact, we were just talking the other day about how that skill was going to be put to good use in high school, right? Yet again, making new friends. How about you, Nicole? Talk about what the social experience was like for you.
Well, going into fifth grade, like you're not really gonna know like the people that come from like different elementary schools from you. So you mostly stay with the kids that like, you already know from the previous school. But like as the year goes on, you start to start to like mingle a bit more and like get to know other kids. And it's like when you get to like end of sixth grade or like early seventh grade, you're gonna have really close friends and close people to you that might not just be from your same elementary school, but also from different elementary schools or people that came in from other schools completely during the middle of the year.
Would you say that the majority of your friends now do you only hang out with Upper West kids, even still in eighth grade?
No, not anymore.
In fact, you and Sienna are good friends, are you not? Yeah, and you guys went to totally different elementary schools. Well, both on the west side, maybe not totally, but definitely different. Now, how about, I see some people asking questions in the chat about electives and what electives are offered in middle school. Can you talk to us a little bit about the electives experience? What are some of the electives you've taken? And what have you enjoyed about it? Nicole, you want to go first?
Got it. Some of the I kind of think I did take a lot. I took chess, art, theater, taking theater now, and sports, and like all of them like different from elementary school. They teach you more. It's like they don't give you the basics. They give you like what's actually will help you for like to get like to help you like get into high schools about it than colleges about it. So it's a bit more like informative.
Which has been your favorite so far of the 4 that you've tried, and why?
Um, I'd say I say I'd like theater the most right now because it does definitely help with your courage and like it also it also helps with your teamwork as well. So it's definitely great to be in theater.
How about you, Sienna? Talk to me a little bit about your electives experience. What have you tried so far? What have you enjoyed and why?
The first trimester of 6th grade, I took theater and immediately fell in love, and I've taken theater every single trimester and semester since. I really like theater for the community, the social skills that it provides, and it is just generally a warm and welcoming place to be after a long morning of classes. And I get to hang out with my friends, which is something I really like.
I'm sure it comes as no surprise that I picked 2 children who like theater to be on this presentation today, because as Nicole pointed out, they have the confidence to speak to, what do we have, 227 participants on this call. Thank goodness for theater. Otherwise, they might not be here today. Now, my last question to you before we head over to the questions that parents have submitted in the Q&A, and actually, I think this came up in the Q&A as well, is imagine you could speak to your 5th grade self, or rather, you could speak directly to some of the 4th graders that are on this call who are getting ready to go to 5th grade. What advice would you give to a new 5th grader for how to make the most of middle school? Either one of you can go first.
Okay. Well, I would tell myself, to take more risks, like be more participate more, so I could get answers that I want, like answer my questions, so I can, just learn more, and I could just do a lot better. And also socially as well, like get to know, like even though like as the school year goes on, you get to know people like better and more. Like you might want to get to know people now so you have like even stronger connections with them because you know them for a longer time. So it's like the more you do that, like, for both situations, you'll learn more and you'll grow more.
Amazing advice. Take risks, put yourself out there, ask questions, introduce yourself to people, just generally lean into the experience of middle school, right? How about you, Sienna? What advice would you give to a new 5th grader?
I find that when I was in 5th grade, I really wanted to be perfect at everything that I was doing. So I'd say take it easy and don't stress as much because it's a new change, a new setting. You're not going to be perfect on the first try. You might figure some things out along the way. You might not know what you're doing all of the time, but in the end, it all works out. And by the end of 8th grade, you'll know more about yourself than you went into 5th grade knowing.
I think those 2 pieces of advice go really well together, right? Take it easy on yourself. Things are going to be challenging. It's a new experience. But if you take risks and you ask questions and you just generally accept that this is new for everybody and I just got to do my best, then like you said, by 8th grade, you're going to learn more about yourself and you're going to be really confident. Nicole, as an example, were you getting 100% on history quizzes in first trimester of 5th grade?
Definitely not.
It's a journey, but now you're taking a regents level course, a high school level course, and getting 100%. Also, Sienna's getting a 95%, which nobody should scoff at. Still very amazing. You are acing your tests because you took that advice, I imagine, yourself. So let's jump over to some of the questions that some of our parents have submitted. Sienna, we have a question about siblings at Success Academy and sibling preference. I know because Colin, your younger brother, is a sixth grader here at Midtown West. So I know you have a sibling here who's at Midtown West. What's that like? Talk to us about that.
My brother's in sixth grade, and I was lucky enough that when I transferred into Midtown West, sibling preference was able to get him to the same school as me as well. So we are able to go to school together, which puts less of a stress on my family. I'm able to go home with him every day, see how his day was, and also just sometimes think about what he could do to try and improve himself. And it makes things a lot easier.
He kind of gets to be the beneficiary of a lot of the lessons you've learned. Yeah. Sounds like what you're saying. Yeah. And Nicole, I hear that there's a little way on their way to potentially to Upper West next year. That's the hope. Is that true? What do you think about him starting here at Success Academy in kindergarten next year?
Well, yes, that is very much a potential, and I definitely would like it. One, kind of my bias, but it's like, I like to keep like the Success Academy, keep going to Success Academy because I really do like the school, like the previously I mentioned. So it's gonna really help him learn more, grow more, and he's gonna is gonna definitely grow up a lot smarter and a lot better, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. And he gets to be the beneficiary of your knowledge. Like when your parents can't help him with number stories, you can help him with number stories, all the things your parents struggled with the first time, you'll be there to step in and save the day. I have another question about electives. I don't actually remember off the top of my head if either of you guys participate in clubs, but talk to me about maybe Sienna, you can run through what are the different options that we have here at Midtown West for electives, and if you know anything about clubs, either from your own experience or friends, what was that like?
Currently, the electives that Midtown West offers are chess, dance, art, music, theater, and sports. Our clubs are art, dance, theater. I think there's a chess club.
There is a chess club. You have to be on the chess team to be in the chess club, but yes.
And I have a couple friends in theater club, and they're very excited to be performing a production of Curtains later this year. I can tell that they really like the extra time being able to be spent with Mr. Glass, and also getting to know a different group of students because club ranges from scholars in 5th grade to scholars in 8th grade, and I find that they really enjoy that. We also have a couple friends in art club who also really appreciate being able to get to know other scholars, specifically the 7th graders, and sort of mentor them along the way as they become the next 8th graders.
And Nicole, how many electives can you have at a time? How do you pick them? How does that process work?
Like you only have one elective per semester, and it's like at the beginning of every semester you're able to choose which elective that you want to do, which is it gives like a sense of a bit of more freedom because you have actual choice of what you do want to do and like what you want to start to master so you can get into high school with it.
And you can also select an additional elective for 0 period. I don't think you come for 0 period, Nicole. Both of you come for 0 period. No, Sienna does not come for 0 period. Nicole, what is your 0 period each day?
I take art 0 period.
Art 0 period. So you have an extra elective in the day because of 0 period. Some people choose to do, have you ever done study hall for 0 period, either of you? Or do you have friends that do study hall?
Yeah, I took study hall first, yeah.
What would be the benefit of study hall for maybe an incoming 5th grader?
Like you have like an hour in the morning to do the homework because the homework is still not due yet. So still not doing it to the beginning of the day. So you have extra time so that when you get home you have more time to do what you want. You have more freedom.
Yeah, and that wasn't probably a big adjustment from elementary school too, right? Was the way that the homework changes. So having study hall would really help with that. Let's talk through a day. I think a lot of parents want to hear a day in the life of a middle schooler, like from you leave your house, what happens throughout the day till you get home. Who wants to take that on? All right, Sienna, go for it.
So, since I don't have a zero period, I leave my house at 7:40 and meet up with another one of our classmates in 8th grade, and we take the train, the A train to the C train, get off at 50th Street, and by the time we're there, we're being let into school at 8:40. Doors open at 8:40 and close at 8:50, so there's a little bit of freedom on what time you get to school without being late. Once I'm in the building, I'm in advisory for like about 10 minutes to watch the morning show, get caught up with your advisor, say hi to your friends, and just sit down and get ready for the day. Nicole and I are in the same section, 8A, which means our schedule goes ELA, history, math, electives, which we're both in theater. Then we have off campus lunch, which is a special privilege for 8th graders. Each day we're able to go off campus and leave the building and return to campus at 1:50 or 1:53. After that, we have science. And the most interesting part of our day, I find, is a Regents Prep study hall session. It is an hour and a half of studying and preparing for Regents, which we'll take at the end of the year. And it helps you get caught up on homework, plan out your day, and just generally is good for revisions, and you can get help from teachers during that time as well.
And again, thank you for pointing out that part of the reason that you guys have that in your schedule is that 8th graders this year are taking 4 Regents exams. So we really wanted to make sure that you guys had the support that you needed to be prepared to tackle those. Now, I have a question in here about uniforms and if there's new uniforms. Now, some people might be wondering, why are there Success Academy scholars on a presentation right now? Normally they would be in uniform. I see you both wearing the exact same sweatshirt, so it seems uniform. Nicole, can you tell us about this sweatshirt? And then maybe each of you can tell us about how the uniform changes in middle school. So Nicole, first, what's going on with the sweatshirt?
Well, we get these sweatshirts from being in 8th grade, advancing on to a nice little hoodie. It's just a kind of like a bit of a reward for, being, working hard. And
Can you show us what the back looks like? Is there a way for one of you to show us? So Sienna will show. What is on the back, Nicole?
it's like the names of everybody in 8th grade.
The names of all the 8th graders. Awesome. Okay. So 8th graders, we have our 8th grade class sweatshirt designed by an 8th grader, a very cool privilege for our 8th graders, something to look forward to. What about the uniforms though, Nicole? How did they change at all? How so from elementary school?
They did change, I believe. Correct me if I am wrong. I believe we did have to start wearing a tie and the button, like the blue button-down shirt.
You actually had that in elementary school too. You just had to wear an orange tie in elementary school. You have a few more options in middle school for ties. Maybe Sienna, the girls, yes, like your adorable bow tie, correct. Sienna, the girls' uniform changes a little bit more if you want to talk about that.
In elementary school, there's the option to wear the orange shirt and pants and the orange shirt and the jumper. In middle school, we have like a load of different options. As I'm wearing the blue button-up shirt, and usually I'd be wearing a navy blue skirt. But there's also the orange shirt and the plaid skirt, which is the same as the jumper. However, navy blue knee socks and all black shoes are still required.
I love that you threw that in there. You know that's my current crusade is school shoes. Now you both talked about how you're taking Regents exams in middle school, which is uncommon for a lot of middle schoolers. Some parents would like to know about what type of support is offered to you, not just academically, but like emotionally. What support is offered to you to deal with the pressures that you might be feeling to succeed in 8th grade and feel ready for high school?
Look, I know that we have counselors inside the school. So like, if you need like any advice or help with anything, you could go to them and speak to them like about any stress that you do have, and about like the regions. Like Luciana was saying, in eighth grade we do have like these regions preps during study halls, so we can every day we can start to practice a bit more towards the regions. But in every grade we do a little bit of work that could help us towards regions, so we know we have all the knowledge that we need for it.
Anything to add, Sienna?
Um, uh, each homeroom is made up of either 2 or 3 advisors who are assigned to about 12 advisees, and this advisor can conference with you about grades, just generally check in on you. I know that with my advisor, we've talked out in the hallway a couple times just about how my day is going and what my concerns are, as well as you can also always email all of your teachers for revisions, any questions, and yeah.
Yeah, so everybody has that support, right? Your advisor really gets to know you. They're there for you. You also have like all your teachers. They're all like rooting for you all the time. I mean, you guys are super lucky. The eighth grade teachers here are just like the best. So they are team eighth graders all the way. Some parents, we talked a little bit about homework and how that was an adjustment from elementary school to middle school. I think this is probably going to end up being maybe our last question. Hopefully, maybe we have time for one more. Talk to us about how much homework you feel like you have each night, and how do you manage that?
Well, like, it's not like a big pressure amount of homework, definitely not. But it is like it is enough to like, keep your memory jogging about what happened the day before. So you still have time. You still have time after you do your homework to like, do the things that you want and eat. So it's not a lot of homework.
I'd say it's a pretty decent amount of homework. The due dates are definitely different. You don't have a packet of math questions anymore. Actually, we kind of do. We have our math that's due on Friday. But for science and history and ELI, sometimes the due dates will be scattered around the week. And it's very important to be checking Google Classroom every day to check when your assignments are due and make sure you can plan your time.
Thank you so much to both of you for helping us tonight answer all of these really tough questions that parents hit us with. Everyone should know I'm the principal of Midtown West. You're talking to 2 Midtown West scholars, but this is an experience that you would hear at any of our middle schools across Success Academy. I'm a little biased because I think these 2 are the greatest kids in the network, but there are great kids at every school. So no matter which school you end up at, we know that the experience that Nicole and Sienna have talked to you about today will very much mirror the experience that you have as you head into middle school. Thank you so much, Nicole and Sienna. Thank you so much to all of our attendees for joining us today. We hope that this was helpful in thinking about the next 4 years as your scholar begins their middle school journey. Thank you so much. I can't say it enough, and have a great evening.